ants. They come in all shapes and sizes, and this is a big ant. Now, for those of you getting scared right now, let me assure you that this is not a real ant. This is just a clip from an old science fiction movie.
Get the antennae! Get the antennae!
Now, these are real ants, Pogonomyrmex californicus to be exact, which is the technical name for good old California harvester ants. And why, you may ask, are we looking at these ants? Well, these ants just happen to be part of an honest-to-goodness ant empire. They're counting the money at Uncle Milton Industries Incorporated in Culver City. Money being sent in from literally all over the world for the purchase of California ants and ant farms. Uncle Milton Ant Farms, to be exact. Now, how many of us have had an ant farm at one time or another, either at home or at school? They're part of growing up. And it all started right here 32 years ago when Uncle Milton Levine invented the ant farm. Now, the outer office of this place is bustling. Hundreds of orders come in every day. In fact, they have one whole wall that's covered with nothing but personal letters written directly to Uncle Milton himself.
Should I read this? Is that appropriate to read?
Well, I don't know. Read it to me.
Dear sirs, my little brother killed all my ants and peed on the sand. Please send a double supply of ants, sand, and your ant food. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Richard Coa.
So those are the kind of letters you get.
That's right.
Well, moving right along, by now I was ready to meet the main man, Uncle Milton himself, who I was told was hard at work back in his executive office. Hello, Uncle Milton.
Hey, Hugh, how are you?
How you doing?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
How's the ant business?
Busy, busy, busy.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what I'd expected, but I wasn't disappointed, as I spent the whole morning talking ants with the ant tycoon himself.
It was an instant success. We put a 3-inch ad, or I think 2.5-inch ad in the local paper.
Here in Los Angeles?
In the LA Times. Mail order section they had at that time. I think they still have it. And the response was absolutely terrific. Couldn't believe it.
And it hasn't stopped since.
Hasn't stopped since. As a matter of fact, this is our best. 88 was our best year.
88 was a good year for ants.
Oh, it was a tremendous year.
Why?
Why? I think a lot of nostalgia. We're into our third generation. And many of the so-called, I guess you call them yuppies, they want ant farms for themselves and for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of grandparents. So it's a great thing, an ant farm. We as far as selling is concerned, it goes from kids about this high to college students and older people.
What do you think the fascination is that people have with sitting there and looking at ants crawling around?
It's, I'm going to compare it to goldfish. What are the fascination of goldfish, swimming back and forth? But these are a little more fascinating because you could watch them dig tunnels and build bridges and move mountains. They're very, very strong, the ants. They'll pick up one grain at a time and bring it up here.
Uh-huh.
That's about 10 times the normal weight, each grain.
Now, do you still sit around and look at ants?
Oh, yes.
Or have you gotten a little tired of it?
No, you never get tired of them. We have actually shipped and sold over 9 million over the years, which is a lot, but don't forget that's over 30 years. And many more people have seen them. They may not have bought them, but they've seen them. We're in practically every school in the country, in practically every grade, all the way from kindergarten through college. This is for observation, and if you look through there, you'll see the ants about 10 times their size.
Mm-hmm.
And
you see anything interesting going on in there today?
Well, let's see. Yeah, this little fellow here is going to pick up a grain, and he's going to bring it through this hole and build a mountain. And the other fellow perhaps is going to go down and build a bridge or a tunnel. This is actually how a real anthill looks underneath.
Underneath.
Right. Except, of course, it's much bigger.
Now, is there a method to their madness? To each one of these ants know what the other one's doing?
As a matter of fact, an ant knows what it's going to do before it's born. Now, that's a little hard to believe, but it's predestined to do a certain thing, and that's all it'll do. Some are soldiers, some are nurses, some of them they call slaves, but they know what they're going to do.
What can we learn from looking at an ant farm?
My favorite expression is that you could learn that perseverance is the secret of success, and these guys persevere. You never see them loafing. You and I work that hard, why, we'd own the station.
Do you think that this is going to go on and on and on? There's no reason for it to ever stop.
No, there's no reason to stop. As long as there are people and as long as there are ants, it's not going to stop.
Well, I could have listened to Uncle Milton's ant stories all day, but I still had places to go and people to meet, like Uncle Milton's son, Steve, who took me on a tour of the shipping department, where they actually mail out books about ants and ant food and the ants themselves. Which brings up the question, where does Uncle Milton get his ants?
Well, we get them out in the desert. I can't tell you the exact location. It's kind of kept a secret.
A secret?
Well, we've used this area for the past 30 years. We don't want to lose it. It's a good source of ants.
What, are you afraid somebody's going to go out and steal the ants?
You never know. It's a valuable commodity to us.
So you've got a specific secret location.
That's right.
Where is it?
We won't tell.
Oh, come on,
No.
Steve.
I'm sorry, we can't tell. It's a company secret.
Well, after prolonged discussion and outright begging on my part, and after promising never, ever to tell anyone where it was, Uncle Milton and Steve finally gave me directions to their secret ant place, where I met up with Robin and Sherry and Pauline, who were hard at work collecting ants, actually sucking them out of the ground with a car vacuum cleaner, which is certainly easier than the way Robin and Sherry's father used to do it when he first hooked up with Uncle Milton 32 years ago and picked them by hand, one by one.
We dig about 10 holes a day.
How many ants a day?
That's a hard question.
Well, I know you don't count them individually. This is the most amazing thing.
Count them individually.
You count every one of these ants?
Ant into the little vials before they're mailed out to the people who have the ant farm.
This is the most amazing. I have never seen this many ants before. How many ants in there? Quick.
8,000, 9,000.
9,000 ants? I'm going to put these down. Excuse me for just a minute. I'm afraid one's going to bite me.
Okay.
Here, I'll give it to you. You know what to do with them. I'm beginning to scratch just being around all these ants.
That's what happens.
I'm serious.
Getting help is hard because of that.
What do you mean?
People say, ants, oh my God, you know. They'll walk into your house and see a pen of ants sitting there and
And they
what
start
are you,
itching.
what are you doing? And they'll start itching.
Well, I'm serious. I felt
yes.
like I needed to itch.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that
Everybody does
psychological
Yes.
or?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, I'm glad I'm normal because I'm telling
Everybody
you.
does it. Everybody does it.
Have your ants ever gotten loose in the house?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We've spilled whole entire pans.
You're a kid in the house?
In the house on us.
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's a frightening thought. You literally got ants in your pants.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally.
Rip your clothes off.
Boy, this could get old real fast.
See that?
couldn't it? What's that?
That is
That's
their
it.
hole.
Oh.
Then you follow that. Sometimes you follow that down 6 feet.
I dug one this morning. I went down about almost to my neck before I hit their
Yes.
main hole.
So those little critters get way down in there.
Oh, yeah, especially in the
Now,
winter
here's
time.
where you got to be careful because if you lose the sign,
Oh, look, there they are. We found them.
yes.
They were elusive, but we found them. Well, I've had my share of adventures doing video logs, but this day has to have been one of the most interesting and fun of all. First, I got to meet Uncle Milton and his son Steve and some of the nice people who work in the office. And then I got to visit the secret ant location and not only meet some second-generation ant pickers, but go on an honest-to-goodness ant hunt myself. And by the end of the day, I had learned a lot about this thing that started out as just a product 32 years ago, but has become over the years something that's familiar to almost everybody. And by the way, in case you're wondering, those ant pickers, they get a penny an ant. I'm Huell Howser for Videolog.